In a time of trouble, a lot of people ask why God allows bad things to happen. Some say there can't be a God, because if God is all-powerful and loving, as most religions say, how can he allow deadly viruses and all the other nasty things there are in the world? Because of this, some people dismiss any kind of faith as nonsense. Others say, rather regretfully, I wish I had faith. What many people don't realise is that real faith has never been easy. We see this quite clearly in the Bible. The Bible doesn't give us the answers. It tells the story of people's faith and the struggle they had to hold on to it. Moses met God in a burning bush, and God told him that he had been chosen to go back to Pharaoh and demand the release of the Israelite slaves. And Moses tried to worm his way out of it in all sorts of ways. I'm nobody. How can I go to the king and bring the Israelites out of Egypt? But suppose they don't believe me? No, Lord, don't send me. I've never been a good speaker. No, Lord, please send someone else. In the end, he agreed to go, but when he called on Pharaoh to let the slaves go, Pharaoh did what unscrupulous employers often do with those who ask for better conditions. He made things even harder for them. And Moses went back to God and said, ever since I went to the king to speak for you, he's treated them badly, and you've done nothing to help me. Later on, we find Jeremiah complaining of his suffering and saying to God, truly you are to me like a deceitful brook, like waters that fail. Later on, we find the book of Job, which is one long argument about why God allowed innocent people to suffer. Job says things like, I will say to God, does it seem good to you to oppress, to despise the work of your hands? Most of the great prayers of the Bible are in the book of Psalms, and we tend to know the nice ones, the ones that are full of confident faith. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. Even then, we forget that the people in the Bible were always coping with defeat and disaster, and perhaps these psalms were often a desperate effort to boost up their faith and courage. And often they prayed in a very different way. Why, O Lord, do you stand far off? Why do you hide yourself in times of trouble? How long, O Lord, will you forget me forever? How long will you hide your face from me? And of course we have the supreme example of Jesus saying on the cross, my God, why have you forsaken me? There is a kind of faith that comes easily. People who are healthy and happy and have a comfortable life can easily say, I believe in God. And very often, those people lose that faith as soon as trouble comes along. That's not a faith that makes any difference to anything in the world. But the more you care, and the more you try to do some good in the world, the more faith becomes a battle. For some of the people in the Bible, life was one long story of questioning God, reproaching God, challenging God, wanting to believe God was with them, and often doubting it. That's what real faith is all about. It's not a lazy assumption that all will be well, nor is it a tame acceptance that whatever happens must be God's will. It's a courageous, powerful, two-way relationship, and it becomes a pattern of life. And the miracle is that as we struggle with God and with faith, we become part of God's struggle against all that's wrong with the world, and we become God's partners in putting it right.